No bo dagan we boko. Alo zakan. Alo zakan ne. No bo dagan.
Is there something that I doesn't want to remember?
The Nigerian extractive industries is very critical to Nigeria as a country because, for instance, the oil and gas industry is responsible for over 70% of our revenue as a government.
There is the availability of the crude oil, mineral resources, oil and gas actually, and the processes, in the first place, the processes of exploring for where oil is in commercial quantities, the seismic operation, blasting, all that stuff, and then you look at how the people are part of this process.
There's a lot of conflict in the regions that these minerals come from, and these rural people, as they're called host communities in oil and gas, face a lot of challenges as a result of the insurgence of businesses into those communities.
Some of the long-time realities of the Niger Delta environment, lamentations of neglect
Oil
from the
spill has
host
destroyed everything, and we bear the brunt.
Whether it's water, whether it's oil, whether it's gas, as long as extraction means you are bringing something from below the surface of the earth, you are bringing it up maybe through a mechanical method or whatever, or through even manual method, but you bring that thing up. And that process always have a kind of impact generally on women.
Don't ke bo ake. Ke brad re di le. Ero ye zaza ro. Eso edi. Life was enjoyable to me because I've not gotten other life more better to me than that time. Everywhere we are free. You move at will. You travel at will. So life we are just as if we were in heaven. We don't know that there is problem. Eba ero phone ba noa bo pere delay. But now no na pere dinale. Eso phone category. When the thing change and all these things become scarce is when these oil spillages started. Women use palm produce as source of income. Women use palm produce as food for the family here. Women feed the family because we are farmers. We are the users of this land. So since we can no longer use this land, where we get our income, where we get our food, we are highly affected.
Tano araba enya ninda forubo odie ze anu nda fobo odia abe bo odua bo dowa ele ti abo odie to du na she mu na boken no she la to ovitendo ze ka bo ori na akora ka edu mfo ba sime akuta bo to ka no iyage ngbage fu na epo mfunage tem do fonu ivu de nye mfo ba le agbo na bia na yan ni alo oneba enya nge fogu ban
Lotani ana lotani to embe didin eni duzu eke bam yadon nera ye to ka no egbo pabia la na especially baby kora ka pabia banala ye no e bana abobo ne tanaka anam komendu memka ye to ka no na tema bu pami school etan be nu egbo na eno egbo eya because some system orani ere ogbo bura bu ba o ba ye pege ai bura na ma be bu school otan be no ye eya nera ye la ka ne ade.
Women traditionally do not have access to land. They don't own land titles, except land that they buy. So they get farmlands from their fathers or their husbands. So when such farmlands happen to be where there is oil, it's taken away. The woman that was farming on that plot of land is not recognized because it's not her land. It is only the people who own the land titles that are recognized. So in few cases where compensation is paid, negotiation is with family heads and possibly the community leaders. And then how does that translate to availability of food? Over 60 years down the line, what has been the impact? There have been changes in the harvest of farmers because the entire land has been polluted through oil spill, through laying of the pipelines, through all the activities that are related to oil and gas.
When you visit a person and they gift you some fish, they don't actually expect you to eat the fish because the fish is actually polluted with fuel.
Do you know the method they are using now for the coal fire is polluting the sea even more than when the oil company was there? The oil company maybe pour this thing in a tank, but they are now pouring in the land. They are now pouring it in the sea, the remnants. And if you get to the, as we are talking of pollution now, getting to the sea now, when we have stopped Shell or companies activity from most areas, you get to the seashore now, you get days of this crude that have subdued the natural muffler land. And the natural muffler land you will see now is only cake of crude.
When the river has been that polluted, and I say it is irretrievable, it cannot be remediated in the short term. Even the issues of the environmental pollution that occurred in Ogoni, UNEP stated that for it to come back to its pre-pollution state, it will take 50 years of continuous remediation activities. The women there, they cannot go to farm. And because they are mainly farmers, their source of economic empowerment is gone. They cannot have access to the farms to plant and sell their crops, to earn money to take care of themselves and their families and their children.
And a day in a to, Koege mu be bumina wa na magari. Ndani mnye kobe no share lo na no wa bo wa bodo bebe no ni adi ma memu wa ba we na ma mu gari. Bi bo odu bodu ma be to na gari da we dejan. Ten da dejan lo. Da ye si to aton zebi. Ndani mnye ko na no share. Mina nda bi na ise ko mo mi ten to le dejan lo le mi nya le ba to nda an se ana nda obe na ise. So na nda bi na ko na mu adi ndo ba kede ani ele na ma mu gari igbo denu nu agbo kure gbade ne be do to de zira nu agbo kina obere jan e diari taigba ibulo ke dinake ni mina mbe zabie mbe ko ne doctor ko na nu na en ba ko gbo nu me u e ko ra me ni an no she agbo ake tu bie ko tu ne agbo to de zira asisan ni egbo didi elo igbo za tu be ti sanbo ne agbo ta so ndani nye ka be e la na ba do ko ne didun ne vukami to agbo ki igbo ura dan ba vukami ne o ebe angbo na bala dejan ne bi na bala si school to be danyi mendera na age
bobe takoi ngbo a odu mune dito ngbo ko ne ko ke imu doma no bodaga we boko alo zekem ne no bodaga so bobe bo ake bo erara nge ko ke tamu adoma ko be bira be da to kan mangi gas agbo abana bo konen bike ya mbana bobe bravo numnyima ke basere atoko abe ko akpoto bo ponis ne ba e ba ke tene ba bo ko ba do ke sing ama ba bo fa ama ke makpo e lo dunki numnyima be balina so se balilo Ning owa can do it. Ne bembe mona. Lotani de apa na orutam.
We live in an environment where really there is no autopsies are not being carried out as when death occurs, as we see in civilized society, where for every death that occurs, an autopsy is actually conducted to know the cause of death with a view to mitigating it in the future and to see that those that are living do not die of similar preventable causes of death, like the environmental pollutions that occur on a daily basis.
A colleague will say that in Ogoni, people just die. You can see more posters about obituaries in Ogoni. And it is the same thing in other parts of the Niger Delta. Right now, the UN said the life expectancy is at 47 years. That is low. So we breathe in polluted air. We eat polluted food. We drink polluted water.
We started experiencing type of sickness and occurrence that have not been in existence before our time, before this time. We've not hearing of breast cancer before this time. We've not hearing of hypertension, all these things before this time. We've not hearing of early menopause before this time. It was in a very scarce pattern, if it exists.
The thing with our work is that it's not, even though it's very high level, because we like to address institutional challenges and we like to provide structural systemic changes to them, is that we make sure that we go into the communities to do our research. We don't sit at a desk. We try to go in and to understand the challenges that these people actually face. So, for instance, one of the survival stories that touched me recently was one of a young lady who had suffered extreme violence in the hands of her partner.
I got married in the year 2013, and I was passing through a lot which I did not expect. My husband used to beat me every day. This whole of it thing started after 3 years. And after beating me at times, he also asked of sex, which in that process I do not have the mind to do it. And he will still beat me again. People were starting saying that I did not conceive for him. That was the reason why he's beating me every day. But the problem was not coming from one angle. I couldn't conceive for him, and him too, his job was not coming as it was before. Because when there was bunkering here, jobs were everywhere, and they were calling him all the time. So when they stopped the bunkering, people were not having the money to call him to come and do job for them. So all those things were like provoking him, plus the child I couldn't conceive for him. So the thing was getting worse every day. One early morning, I opened my eyes and I saw him with a knife. And I asked him, why are you holding knife? He says that he can kill me. Assuming that he killed me when I was sleeping, what can I say? And I asked him, what happened? But we were not quarreling last night. He said that he had the right to kill me because he had paid my bride price. I was kneeling down, begging him. In my heart, I was praying. I was praying in my heart. And he finally calmed down. And after then, he kept the knife and I was like, let me go outside. And he started beating me again. Till this thing started from 5 in the morning. And he stopped the beating 4 in the evening. I decided that very day that instead I lose my life, let me go.
It so turned out that as a result of the pollution within the environment, they had challenges with conception. And obviously, in the society that we live in, he blames the woman for the challenge.
Although I was not having any relationship, after when I left my husband for like 3 years, and I decided that let me carry on with my life, a new beginning. And I met a man. I tell him my story. And he accepted me. I started a new life with this man. When I opened up my story to him, he decided to help me. And after 2 months, I got pregnant for him. And I have my baby now, which I was accused of.
A research was conducted at the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital to look at the spermatozoas of male that are resident in Port Harcourt, and it was found out that most of the male residents in Port Harcourt have structural abnormalities of their spermatozoa. Simply put, they cannot impregnate their wives. Unfortunately, we live in a society where infertility is always blamed as on the woman as being responsible. But issues of infertility is 50% women, 50% males. So the subject we're talking about, when she left her previous marriage and got married to another person, she got pregnant. Okay, but if she was in the pregnancy, in that marriage before, she would have been depressed, psychologically drained, because her in-laws would have seen her as someone that is barren. They would have accused her of, conducting abortions and lived an irresponsible lifestyle before she got married. Not apportioning any blame whatsoever to the males, to her husband.
So you are married right now?
No.
You're not with that same man anymore?
Yes. In my place, we cannot get married until we refund what the husband have paid. I have not refunded my husband.
First husband's bride price.
Yes.
Women in society are critical. I mean, what society functions well without the children? No matter what we say in terms of equality, women birth children and women primarily look after children.
Children are just moving as they like. No control. If you don't have money, nobody should tell you that if you don't have money. In this present society, you can control your children 100%. You can't control them because they are mingling up with people outside.
The young girls either are lured into sex work by the oil business because it's like follow the money. The staff of the oil companies have the money. So you have young girls in communities getting pregnant and having born babies. And in most cases, the fathers have left the region because these fathers are staff of oil corporations that just came to work for a period of time. So they leave and the burden goes back to the family, specifically the mothers, because the mothers want to support their daughters.
Even most of the children they came here to take as house help, they went and used them for ritual. Agree? Parents are thinking the child is living somewhere. But the place they take the child to, they have made transfer from themselves from that place, and you came for a local woman to get that child.
I have encountered little children saying that I want to be a militant because they are powerful, people respect them, people don't toy with them, and they are rich. That is dangerous for a society.
If the children have now having idea of bunkering, how they can produce crude, how they can produce fuel, gas, why can't government organize them into a company that can develop, and then people will now build their knowledge? They can even be, that is the area of the empowerment they now give them, so that it will now boom the society in a right direction, that will not be a way to death. Because what they are doing now is a way to death.
Women should actually take the lead. Women should take the lead because women have been so directly impacted that they can easily define the changes that they want. Women should begin to be part of decision making, not just in numbers.
You find out that the issue of gender impact assessment is not very, very important in mining or extractive sector or any of the sectors. When you are doing any analysis, people want to see what's the impact on the gender. Good governance. How do you intend to structure? So until we learn to take all these things serious, I think we're not going anywhere.
In Rivers State, for instance, all the deputy local government vice chairpersons are female. But how does that translate to changes? There is also a policy by the governor that a certain percentage of the ward councillors should be women. I think we have not less than 3 in each local government. That should also be translated to power, not just the women being there physically. So if we take it up from there, having women in community development committees, and then we intensify women organizing, which is what my organization, Quebec Kase, is doing, building women's political power and economic power. Definitely there will be changes.
The truth is, it's not that the fault is from any one entity. It's not primarily the government. It's not primarily the business sector. It's not primarily the community persons, although you would have to hold government responsible because, I mean, they're supposed to look after us. But the truth is that all parties need to get involved to solve this problem. And we're hoping that all of the communication that we're doing around this, all of the different engagements across different geographies will help everyone to have a clearer understanding as to the potential for either disaster or success through host community engagement. Through the work that we and all the other concerned people do, that the general populace in Nigeria starts to understand that this problem is not just a Niger Delta problem. This problem is not just a problem in the north. It's actually a Nigerian problem because for as long as there's conflict, that is unrest and unhappiness leading to kidnapping, leading to wars, in these regions with mineral resources, there will continue to be economic challenges with the country in general.
When I went to Jos, I went to Rayfield, I busted into tears when I saw the humanity of man against a fellow human being. The women were mining tin. And you will see, you know the climate in Jos can be extremely hot and can be extremely cold. No shrubs, no vegetation. These women simply just put their baby by the side and they were busy mining. And at the end of the day, when I interrogated them, what they collected, by the time they take it to the tin shed, the men, take advantage of over them, buy it from them at extremely cheap rates. I just said, I will be your voice. I will fight for you.
All the campaigns and advocacy for women participation in decision making, inclusive governance, if there is no document to back it up, it will be difficult to implement. To me, as a development person, And as a gender activist, I believe civil society has done a lot of work to empower the people to speak up and engage. And I think going forward with that can create a way out.
Two things we are looking for in the mining sector: gender and sustainability. So, any organization that doesn't have that, or any company at any level, is no mining.
You need that pressure proof, you understand, to be able to come together as a voice, to make your pitch louder in a sector that has been stereotyped as a male-dominated sector.
We've never had a platform before that engages government, that engages businesses, that brings the community together into a room to have these conversations. I think it's very, very, very interesting that we've been able to do this, and I really look forward to us continuing this work in driving structural change within the different institutions that we work with.
Fight this as a collective. It is not just about one person, it's not just about policy, it's about changing the way we think, it's about inclusion. Have people been asked, have the community persons been asked how they feel about these laws that would affect them directly?
They not supply you. About speaking, they not go school again, no, because we not bring better thing from farm. Because from farm, where they vary, that the kind crowd where they bring from farm like this, from how much we go sell this one to train our children. And here to that and to bring the money where we need for women, where they for Niger Delta.
Fair low. Nevurasu delo digba atunle basanye sele ibo na ziga koki yado kola be no be chosi be do be ol na bari na ziga ko ki ado ana ko edi mfefe lo ne mvurasu delo